Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. For some, it's a morning, for some, it's a late afternoon, but we are all here to hear some great insights from this great crowd that we have today. By the way, I'm just going to introduce quickly myself, and then I'm going to pass over to our speakers to also share something about themselves. So I'm Ivana. Probably you have seen me from Semos Cloud posts. But for those that don't know what Semos does, we are providing an employee experience platform that is seamlessly integrates with SAP SuccessFactors, helping enterprises connect recognition and rewards to improve visibility of total rewards, elevates employee communications, provides intelligent feedback, and on top of that, our latest innovation is related with Agentic AI, which is one of the main topics of the whole SuccessConnect, I would say, last week. Of course, if you would like to learn more about us, feel free to get in touch with us after this panel. So speaking of AI and SuccessConnect, so the reason why we are all on this call is that we were present at the event last week. It was in Vegas, and what we're gonna try is to bring some of that energy from last week to this call by sharing some of the things that were announced, mentioned during all the sessions last week. So, Nayana, maybe you would like to start?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening. My name is Nayana Pai. I lead HR technologies for Colgate-Palmolive company globally. We have a spread about 104 countries, and we are really known for selling oral care products and pet nutrition products and personal care products. Very proud to be representing my company on this call today. Thanks, Ivana.
You're welcome. Steve, you would like maybe to introduce yourself?
Oh, thank you. Hi, Steve Hunt. Up until about a year ago, I was the chief expert for work in technology at SAP, but then I left SAP, not because of anything wrong with SAP, but just because I wanted to focus more broadly in the world of HR technology, including working with a lot of the partners like Semos and also just working with a lot of companies to make sense of the broader technology changes going on overall. My background, I'm an organizational psychologist who has spent his career studying how to use technology to create more effective work environments, and I've written several books, and you can look me up on LinkedIn if you want to learn more about me.
Lovely. Thank you. Rinky?
Sure. Hey, everyone. I'm Rinky Karthik, and I'm a senior director in the Product Success org, reporting to the Office of the President and Chief Product Officer for SuccessFactors. We are a small team responsible for strategic customers, helping them with adoption of our innovation solution and also influence our product roadmap. And I've been around the SAP HR ecosystem for 22 years, and I'm also the lead solution architect for SuccessFactors talent management and talent intelligence. Happy to be here with this awesome panel.
Awesome. Thank you. Good to have you. Aizad, last but not least.
Hi everyone, I'm Aizad Siddique. I lead a global pre-sales for SAP SuccessFactors. Super excited to be here and share some of the excitement with you from the event as well. Still Vegas tired, but yes, we are recovering. I work with customers like yourself globally to help them transform and help them go through their digital transformation journey. Excited, and we all are looking forward to having this conversation with you.
Great, great. Perfect. So I'm gonna also wanted to ask some of the attendees that are right now on the call, whether they have been also part of SAP Connect, and maybe to share something that they would like to mention it as what stand out to them, what is the takeaway, and etc. While we actually roll out with that question here on this panel. So yeah, let's start with the good things.
Should we go in the same order? Nayana, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, I can do that. So from my perspective, I think we're really excited about everything that SuccessFactors had to share about their agentic journey and things to follow with performance agents and custom agents and all of that. But I think the one part that really stood out for me was SmartRecruiters, the acquisition and what it means for us. Personally, we were really excited to hear about the acquisition and see understanding on the roadmap how it kind of plays out with the ecosystem is super critical to us. It's a gap that we've been addressing for a while now, so it's really heartening that SAP thought of it. Looking forward to more on that.
Yeah, I'll go next. So I was with SuccessFactors when we first started. So this was like my 15th Success Connect. And I didn't go last year. And I should say a shout out to EC Experts, which is a partner company that I've worked with that like sponsored me to go to Success Connect and they asked, for some to support some work they're doing around talent intelligence hubs. So Rinky and I had a chance to connect. But I would say on this one, if I compare it to previous ones, what I really liked is the term I used to describe it is calm. It was not super hype crazy. It was just a very kind of rational discussion about how SAP is using AI to rethink work, the smart recruiters, even the smart recruiters thing relative to how I've seen acquisitions announced in the past with Steve, it's still calm. It's like, this makes sense. So we did it. And I think people really appreciated that. It was less hype filled than maybe some of the ones that I've been to in the past. And so I like that sort of we don't need more chaos in our lives right now. And I appreciated the calm approach of the conference.
Awesome. And I can go next. And yes, Steve, more TIH talk, more talent intelligence talk coming up. I think my biggest takeaway from Success Connect was agents, not the 007 kind, but Joule agents or Agentic AI. And I'm going to be the spokesperson for SAP. I'll just talk a bit about what we talked about Agentic AI, especially around SuccessFactor and HCM. The performance and goals agent was introduced and it will be generally available in a month in the second half release. And we are releasing 12 agents in 12 months. If Dan addressed that in his keynote, and there were several agents coming up in 1H 2026, career and talent development, HR services, payroll, people intelligence. And when we say unprecedented possibilities, we mean it. And this is building on our vision of number of agents working together across different solutions to proactively help customers, primarily the HR admins, in their daily work. And these are just the standard deliver agents. We also talked about in Success Connect that customers can also use Joule Studio to build their own agent, their custom agents. And these custom agents can reason through complex business goals. They can plan a multi-step solution. They can take action autonomously. They can perform workflows. And not only that, these Joule agents are grounded by SAP Knowledge Graph for contextual processes or data relationship. And the best part, when you are creating a custom Joule agent, you can actually connect or get data from SAP and non-SAP sources. So I think that was the great takeaway for me from this Success Connect. Aizad?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rinky. And my biggest takeaway, it's a difficult question. So I would say that Business Suite with people data, redefining enterprise value by putting people data at the core of the business. It We have all heard these terms: intelligent enterprise, one SAP, Business Suite. But how many of you have ever seen that in action? So as Rinky and Steve were talking about agentic AI and skills-based organizations, we actually saw that in action through the lens of these agents. For the first time, we saw how an agentic AI would play in to fetch the data from people intelligence and then give us that skills-based foundation, which drives hiring, staffing, workforce planning.
Yeah.
And then we interact with that layer directly through AI. So not siloed HR process, but that integration of business ecosystem.
Can I build on some of what Rinky and I'd like to as I built on? Because I say if I talk about biggest technical takeaway, I was kind of talking the general vibe of it would fall into that agentic AI, which both of those things you're talking about. And I guess the The way that I would put it, one of the things I liked about this conference is when SuccessFactors was acquired by SAP, I asked somebody what the core capability of SAP was, and they said it is helping customers deal with highly complicated processes that can't break and need to go right. Stuff like payroll and things like that. But that also gets into a lot of recruiting, a lot of other areas. And what you're seeing with Agentic AI, what I would talk about, and this is probably not what the marketing people want to say. It is like really amazing robotic process automation with interactive chatbots on top of it. It's not replacing recruiters or replacing HR people. What it's doing is the repetitive part of any job can be automated. If somebody can learn to do it, you can take Joule and you can automate it because at a certain point, you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over, whether that's interviewing people, creating career development plans. It's a standard format. And I think that I really like seeing SAP lean into that core capability, which, although it wasn't said, but it is a company that helps you deal with complex operations and make it easier and more effective. Sounds boring, but super powerful.
100%,
So,
yes.
so what do you think? Like, you've mentioned the operational side of things, and we heard all this, AI talk, but how should HR leaders actually now think differently about employee experience? So putting employees as human.
I can take that. I think one of the things that I've noticed at my company is like we've gone live with Gemini about 6-9 months ago, and the amount of adoption that we've had on that, it's just amazing. Like it's just table stakes at this point. So I think as HR tech leaders, we can't afford to be in the backseat anymore, having a wait and watch kind of approach. Like it's just a question of basic expectations that employees are going to have, that the way I talk to a chatbot in a banking organization or the way I talk to somebody at a service agent is the experience I want in my workplace. So I think SAP is really well positioned in terms of the way it's bringing Joule to the forefront. It's got our employee data on there, like Steve mentioned. It's got the level of interaction that we need, and it's going to be feeding itself, right? As the interactions get better, the agents are going to get better. So I think it's just a question of, when and how should we go about adopting it. And one additional key takeaway that I got from the Success Connect is it doesn't have to be perfect with everybody having everything at the same time. So we start small and then we start to ramp up from there. So it's definitely something I'm super keen on bringing back to my company.
Yeah, and Nayana, you are absolutely right. And I've said this many times in my blogs or webinars that start small, but start now. Don't wait. And I'm going to bring in a solution perspective to that question. What HR leaders need to um, think after that all that AI buzz. I think they need to shift from process thinking to experience thinking. I talked about this during my Success Connect session too, that how user and personal journey mapping is really important during a design phase where AI is involved. So you are not just designing the solution side of thing, you are actually designing the experience. And for different personas, your managers, your HR admins, learning admins, recruiters, employee, there might be different type of employee, deskless, desk employee. So instead of asking what workflow can I automate with AI, ask what moment can I elevate for the employee, right? So, one practical action can be for HR leaders, start by mapping one high impact moment in the employee journey. Maybe it's career progression. I'm in the talent world, so I'll give that example. So maybe career progression or internal mobility or upskilling, and apply AI there first. And I'll suggest using SuccessFactor Talent Intelligence Hub and our career and talent development solution when you do that to personalize those recommendations. But to summarize, I think high impact moment in employee journey is what or how the leader should be thinking about bringing AI in.
Yeah, I would build on what Rinky, what you said. I think you make a really important point, and also tying Nayana to your point, where we are with AI now. Not having AI for your employees now to be like not giving them access to the internet in 2015. It's like they're expecting it, they're going to use it, so you might as well get in front of it because there are significant governance risks if they're using their own private chat GPTs and stuff like that. But I think Rinky, your point reminds me of, particularly as we start using AI for things like performance management, goal management, career development. is the danger of automating people out of the process where people are the most important part of the process. When I first joined SuccessFactors way back when it started, there was a sort of a cynical comment of, look, they've created technology so you can do performance management with managers never having to actually talk to their employees. Isn't this great? You know, we kind of like, that's not the goal. Well, now when you have like, I'll take goal setting. A really important part of goal setting is the conversation between the employee and their manager about what they're supposed to be doing. And you could use agentic AI to simulate that and all of that. But what it cannot capture is the manager and employee having that contextual awareness of, I didn't know that you thought this way in that dialogue. So I think from that point about experience mapping, part of that is saying, what do we want to automate, but where do we want to double down and say, no, we're not going to automate this because you need to
Exactly.
talk to a person.
Yeah. And even though we are going to automate a certain process as part of the experience mapping, there always have to be a human in the loop. You cannot take away the human element from it. So, for example, that goal agent, right? I mean, it helps in some of those setting the goals or the context or the solution side of things, but there needs to be a one-on-one with a manager when you talk. So I think, yes, I mean, we cannot take away the human element when you were talking about AI. That needs to exist. Nayana, what do you think? I know you are a practitioner. You are.
Yeah, I think it's the value addition side of it, right? It really resonated with me what Steve said. So I think it's very easy to go after everything because there's so many shiny objects out there. But I
Yeah.
think really identifying where is the critical value driver for me and my organization personally, and just going after those, I think is super critical in these times more than ever. So I think in our case, we have been exploring for quite a few different technologies. We've built our own private AI hub. So we've made sure our data is secure. We've given people access to what they want to do. But the amount of creativity in the organization is phenomenal, right? I mean, people can think of multiple use cases for technology like this. So it's just a question of time before we really double down on what needs to be human centric versus it's more augmentation, I think. It's not really one or the other. So it's basically about AI helping people work better, get more efficient, work smarter. I think it's more that way, the way we are positioning it internally at least.
I
Yes.
absolutely love that piece, the augmentation part of it. And if we go back and think about 1995, when it was like, oh, internet's gonna take away all our jobs. So I think that's the kind of times we're living in right now. And at Success Connect, we shifted the conversation, and I'll be zooming out for a second as well. We shifted the conversation from AI as technology to AI as overall experience. The future of employee experience is built on AI. It's understood now. Insights that understand context and drive real action based on the semantic data layers and those processes and connected applications. So for HR leaders, my suggestion, and I talk about this with a lot of our customers as well, that the next step is to operationalize AI through context, which means connecting insights from success factors to decisions in finance, operations, and line of business. That's how AI becomes humanized. And everybody was like, Aizad, what are you talking about? How can you humanize AI? It's about that's how you get trusted, contextual, and truly enterprise ready answers through AI. And it amplifies what we do, not one or the other at the end.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much for all sharing your perspectives. And yeah, definitely, humans should not be left on a side in this era right now. And who knows what will happen right in 10 years, but still we are here and we are here to make a difference, right? I know you've mentioned, a few of the partners. So I wanted to ask you, how did partners influence or amplify that message that we've just talked about, like human plus AI?
I can talk a little bit about that. I think a lot of like, if you look and again, I want to be careful here. SAP's really amazing innovation is in this operational stuff that Aizad's talking about connecting HR and non-HR data. And if anyone's followed my work, I've been hammering on that criticality of it. I mean, the real value of employees isn't measured in HR technology. It's measured in all your other technology. And if we're really going to show the value of HR practices, we need to connect finance data and operations data to HR data. And historically, it's been really hard to do, really complicated, and SAP is making some really amazing strides in this area. So I think that's the innovation I love to see from SAP, kind of getting back why I really like this conference, because nobody else can really do that. It's the plumbing, it's the underlying foundation of the house, but the electrical system of your house determines what cool appliances you can put into it. And so SAP is doing really cool work on that. But I think on the really cool, I think, experience stuff, some of the best is in partners. So I'm going to give a shout out to Semos and recognition, going back to talking about humans in the loop. You want a recognition system that makes it easy for people to recognize other people. I kind of use the example. I'm using Duolingo to try to learn Spanish, and it gives you recognition, and it's completely meaningless to me because it's just a little, hey, I'm a little, because it's not a person. However, when my Spanish-speaking Spanish brother-in-law says, "Oh, Steve, you sound good," that means a lot. Of course, he rarely says that, but when he does, I'm like, wow. So I think a lot of the really fascinating things I did see were in the partner ecosystem. If you want to see that, even an example is the acquisition of SmartRecruiters was a point where they've been a partner for a long time. And at a certain point, SAP said, we just need to bring this into our organization. It's so valuable. So I would say if you're looking at the experience stuff, check out the partners. There's so much cool stuff that's going on there. And it's enabled by being on that SAP platform.
And I'm going to talk a bit about our open skill ecosystem partner. So we have a variety of skills ecosystem partners, the job and skills architecture partners, and then some application partners. And back to Steve's point, I mean, SAP, when you see it, we are the main contractor who's building the house, like the plumbing, the electrical, the main foundation. But there might be a few things like, let's say, landscaping. That's where we say, why don't you work with this partner who is a best of breed? And that's how they complement our solution too. So we talked about and we introduced open skill ecosystem partners in the SuccessConnect, and we can share some content later of who they are, but they are really essential as part of your skills transformation journey, and they help you with building your ontology, mapping those skills to your job architecture, and also on the application side too, providing how you can use that foundational data in some applications like maybe learning, recruiting. So yeah, I think that was a great announcement at this year's SuccessConnect.
I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the SAP shift on this as well, right? So it wasn't always easy working with partners being in the SAP environment. I've been with the company 25 years. I've worked on SAP a lot longer than just HR. And it was difficult to work with partners before, but now I think the open ecosystem mindset, Rinky, that you're talking about is really helping. So we could go after niche vendors, niche partners for that specific area. Case in point, Semos, we've been with you for recognition. It's been fantastic. We're working with other partners in other areas, including the talent intelligence hub space. So I think the openness of it, whether it's open content network for learning or any of the other pieces, I think it's really changing the way SAP is also viewing its partner ecosystem.
Absolutely. And then having tools for our partners as well. So things like where they can build their own use cases and connect with us, having that open ecosystem we're talking about. And they've played a key role extending SAP's vision and showing how co-innovation delivers this connected intelligence we have been talking about. And Joule Studio being an amazing example in that case, where we're building so many amazing use cases together.
Great. Well, while speaking of recognition and things like that, I would like to ask you if you have one person from the event last week, someone that you have met, or some of the speakers, maybe a teammate that was with you. If you want to share maybe just a recognition note to them now, we can do it live during the Zoom panel.
For me, it was
Uh,
Tony Camino, our customer rep, our service rep. I think he's been fantastic getting the agenda together, pulling it all, and of course, my teammates. So we had Pavel and Chayan who were traveling with us. I think we divided and conquered, made it to all the events that we wanted to make it to. So it was fun. And of course, you guys
Great.
who made
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I would. I guess I want to put a hugest thank of appreciation. I've never had more hugs at an HR technology conference than I had at this one, and just how my colleagues and the customers and the people that I worked with were just so, it's such a welcoming environment. It really is. I go to a lot of these conferences and it is a very friendly, warm community. And I guess on a person, Rinky, you'll probably know the person's name. One of my favorite sessions was from Pepsi on becoming more skills based.
Yes, yes.
And I don't know who it was, but she's the project
It was
manager.
Yeah, it was Marisa Bennett. She is the HR IT director for Pepsi, and we've been working with her closely. Yep, she's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, she clearly put so much work into that, and she was so candid and such detail. You go to a lot of these things, and it's kind of like, well, we had executive support and we implemented it. She was into the details, she was candid in the challenges. And so I just really appreciated that sort of sharing of knowledge. I think that was anyone who's
I'll
interested in
definitely,
skills should
yeah.
watch that session. So go ahead.
I was going to say I'll definitely pass on the message. I'm actually meeting her in a bit. I think she will really appreciate that. For me, if I have to recognize anyone, it's just not one person. I would say one team, which is Lara Albert's, the product marketing team, the SAP product marketing team. And I've seen the amount of work goes on behind the scenes. I mean, way before, months before. That team has really, done an amazing job. I mean, this year from SuccessConnect, it was changed to SAP Connect, and there were a lot of different type of challenges, but I think that team has done an amazing job pulling it together. So
Absolutely. I thought you all will be recognizing me, so maybe not my day, but
yeah,
jokes apart, I absolutely last team did an amazing work. Chloe helped us stay on track on all the
yeah,
sessions, and
Chloe,
I absolutely, and I particularly like to recognize my friend Lily from the Solution Advisory team in UK. Her business suite and AI agent session on the keynote perfectly bridged that vision to execution, and how people intelligence turns dashboards into decision in motion. So the storytelling with impact was on point.
yeah.
So
I,
thank you,
I
Lily.
I totally concur that I think Lily was amazing, and
Yeah.
Lily was the one who actually presented the demo with Mo and Dan, and she was absolutely amazing in bringing that story to life.
So Lily, if
Amazing.
you're
Well, thank you
watching,
all for
so many
sharing.
shout
Yeah.
outs.
Yes, yes.
Yes, and I really want to thank you all for being honest and open about all the good things, all the insights. But I would like to keep that momentum and not saying it like what was bad, but what is the one thing you would suggest improving for next year?
I guess on the
Um,
layout. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Rinky.
yeah, I was going to say I was drinking water and I remember if if my team SAP is watching, we need more water station and more food lines. Oh my God, this year it was a combined event and there's so many long food lines and there was no water station. There was just sugary drinks all over. So I would definitely think we can do better in that. More H2O.
I think the
Yeah.
layout, it's just that, the sessions were kind of, I think it's also the venue. It was like, it was really, really spread out. There were things happening in two different places. So going back and forth was not easy. And then there were so many times that there were sessions I really wanted to get to, but by the time I got to them, half the session was done. So it's just a question of like how it can be better planned. So probably, keeping things closer together so we could get to sessions one after the other faster, make the most use of our time there. Yeah, that's about it.
More selfish feedback from my side. We need better Wi-Fi. Folks, what are you doing? I have 200 tabs open when we demo. We need better Wi-Fi, faster. So definitely we need high-speed internet at the venue.
I guess Mine was, I think all it was joking a lot of people that for a conference called SAP Connect, the physical layout seemed to be designed to keep us separated. So I did really like the Fontainebleau, so much better than previous locations. Aesthetically, I really like the hotel, but just this layout and having it in two buildings just doesn't work. And I think they did a lot broader point, and this gets a little bit, Aizad, to your point. I am a huge and always have been advocate of linking HR to non-HR technology. But the way that this conference was done, it didn't really feel that way. They were adjacent to each other, but there really wasn't a lot of integration. And I just cynically heard one customer was talking about the main keynote, not the SuccessFactors keynote. The main keynote goes, well, the good news is it showed a lot of HR leaders to technology that SAP does that they didn't know about. The bad news is they don't care about that technology. And I don't think that it's they don't care, but the way it's being presented, I think if SAP should and hopefully will and continue focusing on this, keep it an HR centric conference and that vibe and that energy, but introduce into that HR centric conference, have a finance person try to win over a bunch of HR people and make that challenge. I think it's to switch it because the way it was done, I like the concept, but the execution, I didn't hear anyone who said it was made better by being this blended conference. I like the idea personally, but the way it was done, I didn't. That was just my take, and probably I can say that because I'm not with SAP anymore. But so key, I love the idea, but the execution still needs work.
Yeah, so for those that are sharing the same thought for the venue and not being able to, manage to get to see all the sessions, we have prepared something really interesting, which is a guide, a collectible insights from SuccessConnect. So it's like 50 plus pages PDF file that we can share with you all after this session. And on top of that, we also built like a custom GPT where you can ask the agent regarding anything about SuccessConnect last week. So yeah, feel free to use that. I think my colleagues will be sharing that in the chat as well, and we will follow up on email as also. So before we go to the last question, I just wanted to check if we have some questions from the attendees. Let's see. We don't have nothing in the Q&A. Okay. I know we had a few that were shared before the session on the forum. Let me just find them here. Yeah, so I have one from Manisha. Manisha, if you're here, maybe you would like to share your question directly in the chat. Otherwise, I can read it. So Manisha is asking what initiatives leaders should be taking to empower employees to use AI. We did cover a little bit of this, but do you have anything to add?
Absolutely. I can take that one. So starting with, again, this is a most commonly asked question, but when it comes about the future and next steps. And my suggestion for leaders always build an AI factory. What do I mean by that is democratize and then make sure that you have a semantic data layer where there are no more silos, especially when it comes to data and processes. Put that in an AI factory so it can churn out those amazing insights which your front end AI or experience layer can ingest. You can keep having multiple different functions and them operating in different areas, but at the day end, build that AI factory from where you can get those amazing use cases which AI can use to make sure, because at the day end, employees will trust AI if they get better answers and if they trust what answers they're getting are actionable as well, whether that's agents or whether that's conversational AI.
I think that's a great thought. I'm curious, Nayana, I wonder if you could answer this question because you're like saying far along in And there is a lot of anxiety. We always talk about we don't keep humans in the loop, but if we don't define what those humans are doing, and there's always examples, like every week at some company that's laying people off, and there's an AI back. Whether or not AI is the real reason for it or not is another question.
Right.
But for a lot of AI employees, I kind of joke that humans in the loop sounds like a noose. It doesn't sound like a good thing.
Yeah,
Can you share what you've learned from that? Yeah.
I think it's more about providing the infrastructure so people can access AI in a safe
Hmm.
space, that your data tends to be secure. You're not going to be,
Hmm.
giving them tools that are not relevant or are not providing valuable information. So making sure that you're providing the infrastructure and you're giving them guardrails to kind of operate within is super critical, right? And at the same time, I think what's worked really well for us is we have our own internal AI council that really reviews every use case that's being brought up. So it's not to your point, Steve, it's not a blatant use of like, just let's get AI in this and figure this out. It's always about validating where it makes sense and where it doesn't, very carefully evaluating each of those use cases and making sure we have the right approvals in place. So while as an employee, sometimes I'm a little frustrated by the amount of time it takes to kind of review every use case because they have such a big pipeline. At the same time, I understand why this is important for the company. And to exactly that point, to make sure that the decisions we are making are relevant, that they're not going to jeopardize any of the decisions that are being made by either using bad technology or throwing AI where it doesn't need to be, or making sure that we have a human validation in the loop. So all of those are steps that we've taken, which I think are really holding us in good stead. We've been on this journey for over a year and a half, 2 years now. Like ever since ChatGPT was announced, I think our team's been making very conscious efforts to kind of get there. So far, I think we've been really good on that front.
Yeah,
I don't know if that
and I
answers your
can add
question.
that.
Yeah. Sorry,
Thanks,
go ahead.
thanks. And I can just add a fun way how we are embracing it here at Semos Cloud. So as part of our R&R solution, we have this leaderboard. So dog fooding our own product, we actually have like a leaderboard of which one from the employees are using a validated AI, whether it's in marketing, whether it's in product, whether it's in engineering. So it's quite a fun experiment, but also provides output that can be also after that amplified across the whole company. Awesome. So let me check one more question here, and then we can close the session. Okay, so we have one question here regarding from Sherry. Oh, 1 second, I lost it. So I'm interested in exploring how to transition my skills or career path toward AI. What would you recommend as best starting point or areas to focus on?
I think AI is a broader term. It depends. When you say you want to transition your skills or career path towards AI, I mean, is it both the data science or as a practitioner or or just using the AI use cases? I think it'll be better to be very specific which part of AI, and then from there on, there can be many options.
Yeah. I mean, saying, I don't want to sound cynical, but saying you want to develop skills in AI is like saying I want to develop skills in using the internet.
Yeah.
There's so many different aspects to it. I mean, the prompt engineering is a really small part that's like search engine on internet. I would say the big thing is data analysis. AI is fundamentally just data pattern recognition, and what it can do is entirely dependent on the data. It can access the quality of the data, and I think we're going to increasingly see companies trying to say, how can we get better data to feed into AI? I think that's going to be a really big area, as well as the data security issues. So,
Yeah. And Ivana, I'll like to take the next question, take the first dig, I would say, from Alexandra around the question is they've been live
Yeah,
with
please.
recruiting, onboarding, and EC, and then what is the next solution they should go with? I think this is what we have been talking about, that let's not talk about solution or module. Let's see what problem you are trying to fix, right? I mean, what is the main process where you are seeing a problem within the organization. So think from that point of view, not what solution I should do next or what workflow I can automate with AI, but the employee experience. What is the employee experience? Or maybe it's HR or manager where I'm seeing, I'm not getting enough efficiency or value. Let's transform that with AI. I would approach it from that way. And I know, Naina, you are also agreeing, shaking your
Yeah,
head.
go after what adds value. Does it make more
Yeah.
sense to expand your learning portfolio for your users? Is that your blatant need, or the problem is something else that you need to automate? I think it's not an either or. It's basically going after what makes most sense for your organization and where you are in your business. I think the next question is for me on Gemini to Joule with the agent-to-agent extension. No, we were very excited about the whole MCP protocol being discussed at this tech forum, but in all honesty, we've not done that yet. So I think it's on the cards. It's something that we've been evaluating. We know it's coming. We'll definitely get there when it's ready. As of now, we don't have that. But I think the whole discussion is around orchestration layer. So it's basically what the entire industry is talking about. It's not just us. So definitely on the
Absolutely.
cards. Yeah.
That's also something a lot of the partners have done. There's partners that are very AI forward that often in the background they're running it off of, Gemini, Joule, Anthropic. They'll have multiple systems behind the scenes. So I think that would be something that I know some of our partners have really are pretty far along in that.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely say that with our latest innovations, with the manager agents that we have built, absolutely we go a step further and we do try to use other options as well to enhance the whole experience manager have. Good. So just conscious of time, I would like to get closer to closing the session. So if you could suggest one concrete step that HR leaders should take right now to accelerate the value of their SuccessFactors investment, what would be that?
I'll repeat what I said. Focus on what matters to you, right?
Mhm.
Go after the things that are important for your organization, not the shiny objects. Go after what drives most value. And then from the investment of SuccessConnect, I think it's very important to take back the connections you made because these are super valuable. It's like, what Steve said earlier, it's a very huggable family. So I think the community has really voted very well for things that we wanted to do, whether it's influencing SAP's roadmap, whether it's meeting people like Rinky who can actually get stuff done on the product side, talking to delivery leads, talking to partners, vendors. Like I think it's an immense collection of well-wishers you're making for yourselves. So I think definitely tap into that network. Make sure you stay connected even after SuccessConnect is done. That's important for me personally as well.
Nice. Thank you. Thank
I
you for
would-
saying it.
Yeah, I would echo what Nayana said, and I would say pick one thing, and if you want like Joule, I think it's. I mean, is pick one topic where this is something people have to do over and over and over again, but now you can automate it and find something where people go. And I would ask people in that sense, what do you find is kind of a waste of your time? If you had an admin assistant to do something for you or an intern to do something for you, what task would you give them? And then that's a good start, but focus on that. The other thing I'd say is this was a great conference. Don't stop looking at, and I think particularly in the partner system, you're going to hear a lot of the SAP stuff because that's pushed out to you as an SAP customer. There's amazing things happening in the partner community, and they can innovate faster because they're smaller on some of these new experience things. And I always say that our understanding of technology enables and constrains our imagination. If you're wondering, I wonder if this could happen, look in the partners. There's some amazing stuff happening out there, and don't wait once a year to kind of keep up with this stuff.
Absolutely. And just to add to what Steve said,
Mm.
fix the basics first. As Nayana said as well, like don't go after the shiny stuff. So take a look at the data quality, skills taxonomy, organizational structures, all those thousands of job codes. Because at the end, the AI, as Steve was mentioning, will give you what it's feeded. So before investing in these new shiny stuff, take a step back and ask that, is my SuccessFactors environment structured to feed that AI, just not use it.
Yeah.
So that shift from AI as a feature to AI as strategy is something which next generation of HR leaders are going to be working on.
Yeah, and I think the best way to take away attention from the shiny stuff is asking less about process, but more about experience. You know, what process to automate versus what experience to automate, and for that persona. I think that's how I would see it now.
Lovely. Well, again, thank you so much. I think we did share some really high level impressions and insights from SuccessConnect. Is there anything that else that you would like to share with this panel? Or I know there we have some questions in the chat. But probably for the questions, we can just follow up on a recap blog post where we're going to provide answers. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But anything for ending?
I just want to thank Semos for bringing us together and having this conversation, and thank Aizad, Rinky, and Nayana for the time. I mean, every time I chat with this group, and it's one of the great things about SuccessConnect, the best learnings just happen from the conversations you happen to have with people. And so thank you, Semos, for creating this forum for us just to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
Great.
Thank you for having us. And thanks everyone for your amazing participation today.
Yeah, thanks
I
everyone.
love the advisor. This is so cool. I'm sorry, I'm multitasking. I can't help it.
Yeah, I can
This
see
is
here.
really
Yes,
nice.
the advisor is coming as
This
well.
is really nice. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you
Thanks,
again.
Ivana.
Have a lovely weekend. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys. You too. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.